All right, so we're gonna make ourselves a character using Heinrich's Call of Cthulhu Guide to Character Creation. All you really need is a pencil, bunch of dice, some character sheets, so the one from the standard old investigator sheet, as well as this investigator backstory sheet that comes with Heinrich's Call of Cthulhu Guide to Character Creation. Double-sided, very cool. And it is good also to have the old Call of Cthulhu Keeper rulebook. Something else fell over. What was that? Anyways, let's make us a character. Once you give a quick read over of the How to Play chapter, it's only 4 pages. Not even 4, 3. Look at me counting. It's pretty straightforward. Boop, and then we're on to Chapter 2, Origins. So for this, we're going to find out where our investigator is from. Depending on the scenario, it's obviously probably maybe advised to just choose a character from the locale. Otherwise, you can get some pretty wacky origins. But hey, that can be fun. So very first thing on here, luck. Gotta roll for luck. Good old 3d6 times 5. 5. It's pretty dang good. 14. 14 times 5, 70. So you're gonna write that in there. So we might actually be using some of that luck during character creation, which is kind of fun. Gives it some interactivity. First, table. First of many tables. I hope you like tables. I like tables. So first one, country of origin. 1d100. 33. 33 is Europe. 1d4. The old pyramid going. That'll be 2. Belgium. Sure, why not? Over here, actually, it's best to probably use the backstory sheet because some of this stuff can change as we're going on. Belgium. I guess Belgian, but I'm going to write Belgium. All right, next. Table. 2B ancestry. Old diamond looking boy. 2. So our ancestry is native. Your ancestry and country of origin are the same. All right? So we are born in Belgium, and we are Belgian. Now we start getting a little weirder. Social status. Table 2C, social status, 1d12. You don't get to roll the d12 very often, so that's fun. 8. Affluent. You are born into comfort. We don't do anything with that. So, what that means is we don't assign any of those quickfire generation skill values just about yet. So, nothing. But we will write over here in social status, affluent. The next one is birth. Roll on table 2D, place of birth. That's a D100 to find whereabouts we are born. This is whereabouts within our country of origin. So, what kind of place were you born at? In Belgium. So, as the numbers get higher, things get a little weirder usually. We were born in a bathroom. Not an ideal place to be born, but there's worse places to be born. There's worse places. We have to roll our birth events. How many? So that is a D3 minus 1, so just a good old D6 divided by 2 minus 1. 3, so that'll be 2 minus 1 is a 1. Haha, cool. All right, that is a D100, just once. 56, bad omens, that's not great. Your birth is accompanied by bad omens, animals dying, foul weather, a bloody moon. We were born in a bathroom, it wasn't a great omen. So, of course, if you want, you can always give a little bit more details. This is where the fun stuff comes in. It's like we're starting to piece things together. Yeah, that was a little gross. Parents are a little weirded out. Got some nasty water. Born in the bathroom. But otherwise, pretty good. Let's do dad first. 4. So our dad was a hobbyist. The individual's identity is closely connected with a hobby, craft, hobby, or unusual skill. Roll on table 19B, crafts, hobbies, and unusual skills. We're going to flip all the way over to table 19B. Table 19B, crafts, hobbies, and unusual skills. D100. Yeah, it works. 44. Locksmithing. Record locksmith as a non-occupational skill. We're talking about our dad, so that doesn't make any sense. 2. Parents. Doesn't really say if that's his job or not. It's just his hobby. He really, really likes picking locks. Mama is a 15. Mama is a professional. The individual is closely associated with their occupation. Refer to chapter 18, occupations. You can record the occupation under your potential occupations. Chapter 18. Let's get near the back. Also, one fun thing to note. Look at the color coding on the edges. You can see what chapter you're in right away. Barely even need sticky notes, but you will need sticky notes because there are a million tables anyways. So they're associated with their profession. So I'm going to assume, it didn't potentially say you could roll on any of these. Yeah, sure, why not? Why not? Let's do that. I was going to roll on the professional occupations, but it just said they were associated with their profession, so let's just go straight by the book. It didn't tell me to do anything, so I'm not going to do it. D12. Good old D12. I love how you get to roll all the different dice in this. It's very nice. I'll roll on the table so we get a better sound here. Run away. They're a worker, a blue-collar job. Roll on table 18B, parentheses 9. Bum, 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 bum. They are a butler, valet, maid. All right, so mom is a very good valet, butler, or maid. And then we got to write down in our careers. Where is potential careers? Potential occupations. Boop, boop. So the good old butler, valet, maid is an option right from the start. Pretty cool. Pretty cool. Got Papa, the locksmith, and Mama, the valet. Now we are moving on to table 3C. Siblings. See how many these little buggers were born along with us, stealing good old Dada and Mama's attention from us. 4 siblings, my goodness. My absolute goodness. All right. Roll 1d6, re-rolling 6s to determine your birth order. 2. Middle child. All right. Can you read my handwriting? I bet you can't, because it's terrible. That's it. We just roll our siblings. We don't know anything about them yet. So if you want, there's a lot of times where like other characters will pop out. We don't know anything about them. There's a whole big chapter just about like, defining features. So if you want, you could pop over that and give each of your 4 siblings some defining features. All right, now we're on to childhood events. Similar to your birth events, we have to roll a little D3 to find out how many childhood events you have. This time, no -1, just straight D3. Got a little tray so my dice don't fly off to wherever. So 2 childhood events. Those are both D100, so let's see what the first one was. 75, a monster hiding. Okay. You become convinced there's a monster stalking you. Take player handout 2, the disturbed. Roll 1d10 to learn about your fear of the monster hiding. 1, under the bed, blah, 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 blah. All right. D10, let's find out where I think my monster is. 2. I think the monster is in the closet. And we get our little ESE here. Stands for something. Right, ESE stands for Encounters with Strange Entities. Of course, duh, which is on the actual main character sheet here. Encounters with Strange Entities. So we would just enter that in there. But first, let's take a look at that handout, the disturbed. You've suffered a serious, deeply disturbing experience. With time, you will recover from your shock. Retain this handout until you've instructed to discard it. If you're instructed to take a copy of this handout and you already have one, discard all copies and refer to Chapter 3, Institutionalized. So I just sort of need to remember I have that. Time to roll my second childhood event. We'll take it. 32. 32. Armed conflict. Oh my. You experience some kind of armed conflict. Roll POW. On a fail, your character takes handout to the disturbed. Again, ooh, that'd be bad. That'd be kind of cool, though. As a result of the stress you experience, roll 1d6, blah, blah, blah. So, if you haven't allocated a characteristic yet, right here, if you are ever instructed to make a characteristic roll for a characteristic for which you do not have a characteristic value, you may immediately assign one of your remaining unassigned characteristic values. So, since I have to make a POW roll, and I've never made a POW roll before, I get to decide if I want a really high one or a really low one. You know, I'm kind of wanting to fail this so that we can see what that that handout I got does. I think that'd be neat. So let's give my character a real bad pal. This guy's going to be going crazy. All right, let's roll a 40. Kind of hope I fail this one. 42. Good stuff. That's a fail. All right, on a fail, take player handout 2, the Disturbed. So we'll do that as well. But I also get to roll 1d6, and I can add myself a potential occupation, a second one already. A 6. Ooh, a Doctor of Medicine. Doctor of Medicine. Yes, so here you go. If you're instructed to take a copy of this handout and you already have one, discard all copies and refer to Chapter 3, Institutionalized. Chapter 3 it is. 13 rather. There you go. If you refer to this chapter, it is likely because your investigator suffered a mental malady requiring them to be institutionalized unless otherwise specified, such as being directed to Table 13B, mental illnesses, roll on Table 13A, asylum events. All right, let's see what happens. D20. 2. Superior care. You receive exemplary care and recover not only from your current mental malady, but from one existing mental illness as well. Discard any copies of player handout 2, the Disturbed. If you're running this for some players and you're a keeper, what I might do is, since they didn't really get anything out of that, I might just give them a little sanity boost. A little bone, you know? So while we're at that, let's record our childhood events. Terrible handwriting, you can't read what that says. So maybe the monster in the closet was, well, just a kid trying to hide from the realities of the horrible world. But the horrors they did witness gave our little Belgian boy a desire to potentially practice medicine. All right, now that we have survived our childhood, let's move on to adolescence. First, we need to find out how religious we are. Boop. Major world religion. Makes sense. Fair enough. Roll a d10. I am having troubles talking. Roll a d10. 9. 9. You follow a major world religion, although it is a minority religion in your country of birth. We are Jewish. Pretty straightforward. You can, of course, do whatever you want. Now we find out our fervor. How much do we believe here? Roll a good old d12. Again, always a fan to roll these. We don't got to do them in the game very much. 10. We are fervent. You actively seek to promote and spread your faith and beliefs. This may take the form of missionary work or a passionate oratory. Adolescent events. So just like before, we're going to roll a d3, find out how many events we got. That's not a d3. D3 on the old D6. 1. All right, so just one event. 56. We got a part-time job. Cool, we are just collecting the potential occupations. Roll 1d12 or select from the following. Nah, we're gonna roll. 4. 4. Student intern. Library use. Student or intern. All right, and with the library use as a non-occupational skill, we can go ahead and add 20. Get that bad boy up to a 40. Good stuff. Adolescent events. Look at that big old box, and all we did was took a part-time job as a student or intern. Maybe playing into future events here. What I think is, given our old interest in becoming a doctor, maybe we did a little bit of interning at a medical school, learned how to get around the books, and are setting ourselves up for a career in medicine. All right, now we're on to Chapter 5, Adulthood. A lot of stuff going on in this one. We have to do our education, our professional career, family life, and then adulthood events. After that, character should be good to go, basically. So first, education. 18, that's pretty high. Something weird's going to happen. Advanced studies. You pursue a graduate program or other form of advanced degree. Roll on Table 5B, educational events. After resolving the event, roll 1d4 twice or select 2 of the following tables. My goodness, so many events. That is a d100. That is a 61. 61 campus kidnapping. Oh my goodness. Refer to 6 campus kidnappings on table 32A, special events. Let's flip over to that. You are one of several students who fall victim to a rash of kidnappings. Roll high-low to refer to table 17I, cults, or table 13H, fringe beliefs, to find out who is responsible. So high-low, we're going to do a D4. 1 or 2, cults. 3 or 4, fringe beliefs. And that's a 4, so that is fringe beliefs. It's table 32H. 32H, fringe beliefs, it's only a D4. That's a 2. Cult of personality. A personality-driven cult led by one individual possessed of incredible charisma and believed to be divinely inspired. The individual's teachings are treated as gospel. Roll 1d4 to find out who is at the center of this cult. A 1. A religious figure. All right. Make a hard, characteristic, regular skill roll to escape without adverse consequences. On an extreme success, you are also able to rescue the other kidnapped students and become famous as a result. So it just says a hard characteristic, a regular skill roll. Given that we don't have any of those yet, really, besides POW, we gotta make it up. Let's do 80 into our intelligence, just right off the bat. 40. All right, so let's see if we can succeed a hard intelligence and use our smarts to get out of here. We're a smart kid. Hell yeah, 10. That is an extreme success. We escape these guys, this cult. So, on an extreme success, you are able also to rescue the other kidnapped students and become famous as a result. Very cool. All right, so after all that excitement, let's actually find out what we studied here. 1d4 twice. All right, first one is a 2 and a, what's that, 3. 2 and 3. 2, table 18b3, occupations in law, and 3, table 18b, occupations in medicine. All right, law and medicine, let's flip over to those tables. Occupations in law, 1d6. 5. A judge. Occupations in medicine, 1d12. 9. Let's see, what's our thing here? 9. Psychologist or psychoanalyst? Psychoanalyst. Your investigators should now have one or more potential occupations reflecting what they will generally do for a living, or on what skills they will primarily rely on in life. Choose one of the potential occupations and mark the occupational skills listed on page 4041 of the Bible. I think we're going to go with psychologist, which means we would go ahead and write down all of our occupations, but I'm just going to do that later. Now we're going to roll on the occupational events. It's just rolling once. So D100 on occupational events. 28. 1 to 50. Experience an event particular to your occupation. There you go. Medical and scientific occupations. D6. Let's see what this event is. 1. Pharmaceutics. Either in the course of an experiment or by accidental ingestion, you test a novel pharmaceutical substance. Roll 1d4 to learn what happens. Come on, something fun. 1. Refer to chapter 28, Dreamlands. Now we're talking. 28 Dreamlands. If you have been referred to this chapter, it means your investigator has the opportunity to enter the Dreamlands. If you are referred to this chapter and you already have player handout 4, the Dreamer, I do not. If you do not have player handout 4 and have not been banished to the Dreamlands, refer to 0, the Cavern of Flame and Steps of Deeper Slumber on 28A, 0. Just go straight to 0, the Cavern of Flame and the Steps of Deeper Slumber. In your dreams, a stairway descends into the earth. Following down the 70 steps of lighter slumber, you enter the Cavern of Flames. Waiting for you are 2 priests, Nasht and Kamanta, who examine your worthiness to proceed. Roll POW. Oops, I have a terrible POW because I wanted to fail my childhood trauma. Oh no. 48, not bad. Let's spend 8 of that luck we started with. 70? No. 62. On a failed power roll, nope, I succeeded. On a success, you are found worthy and proceed unharmed through the sacred pillar of fire. There you find 2 tables of green malachite, on which lay clothing and weapons, and food and supplies. Suitably equipped, you descend the 700 steps of deeper slumber. Take player handout 4, The Dreamer, and roll on this table, table 28B, Dreamland Encounters. There we go. Handout 4, The Dreamer. But you have braved all thing of earth's dreamland and burned still with the flame of the quest. You came not as one curious, but as one seeking his due. You have been granted entry into the Dreamlands. If you do not possess the skill Dreaming, record it with a starting value of 10. Already did. Whenever you are instructed to roll on blah, 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 blah. Huh. Okay, so this will come up. Okay, so for future events, which will really be family events and adult events, I could instead roll on the Dreamlands. Every time you enter the Dreamlands, gain 10% dreaming. Beware that you do not dream your life away. See what's going on in the Dreamlands. 8. That is the highest, which means something spooky is happening. Kadath. You embark on a voyage to discover mystical Kadath in the cold wastes. Make a dreaming roll. Uh-oh. My dreaming roll is only 10. 80. I don't have 70 luck to spell. On a failed dreaming roll, you awaken. Oh. Too bad. Too bad. So we're now done with occupational events. We're on to family life. So do I want to roll for my family events, or do I want to keep on going through the Dreamlands? Our little Belgian doctor is going to want to go back to the Dreamlands, forgoing his family life. He's a little obsessed. So back to the Dreamlands we go. All right, Dreamland Encounters, D8, here we go. Let's go back to Kadath, please. 8! Haha, back to Kadath. Our enterprising Belgian. He goes back. He's better, he's wiser, he's smarter, he's keener. He spends 6 luck points. And he finds Kadath. On a successful dreaming roll, make a hard characteristic regular skill roll to scale the mountain upon which the fabled fortress of the Great Old One stands. Succeed on this roll automatically if you have frantic ghouls or a frantic cats. I have neither of those. I want to get up there, so we're going to use a 70. We are going to assign that 70 to our dexterity. No, strength. We're a strong boy. We're a strong Belgian boy. All right, 70 or better. Come on, let's scale them mountains. It's a 36. We scaled the hell out of those mountains. On a success, you make it up the cliff and enter the castle and learn strange mysteries. Gain 1d8 points in Cthulhu mythos and roll on table 16C spells. My absolute goodness. As well as learning the location of an item of power in the waking world you are able to recover. Roll on table 16D artifacts. Wild. 1d8. 8. Something's wrong with this dice. 8. Pretty dang good. Spells. 1d100. Let's see what I learned in the Dreamlands in Kadath. 88. I learned summoning. Table 17F. Mythos creatures. 8. We've learned to summon a fire vampire. Artifacts. There you go. D20. 7. The crystallizer of dreams. Alright, I'm going to write all this down. Could take a little while. Spooky lady. Our Belgian is going to relax a little bit. He's found enough in the Dreamlands. There's not much more he can do there. What he's going to focus on is just enjoying life a bit. So we're going to roll on the Adulthood events. That is a D100, and just once, unlike the others. Let's see what he happened. 33. Terrible nightmares. You experience terrible nightmares. Roll high-low to determine whether they have a basis in reality or entirely imagined. So 1 or 2, it's imaginary. 3, 4, it's real. Oh yeah, it's real. Of course it's real. If they are imaginary, take player handout 2, the disturbed. Otherwise, roll on table 17F. Mythos creature, determine what you saw that inspired your nightmares. 12. Dimensional Shambler. Oh my. So, now that we've rolled for our adulthood events, we would go on to either middle-aged and beyond. So if you want to play an older character, you can just keep on rolling on your events tables and just keep on getting older. But we're not going to do that for now. We will go on to Chapter 7, Finishing Touches. This is where you fill in everything that's, well, not filled in yet. If you haven't done your occupational skills, we would do that now, which I haven't, but I'm not going to do because it's not super exciting. One thing we can do here is any of the backstory elements that haven't been filled in yet, we can go through and do now if we'd like. There's also 4 siblings that we know absolutely nothing about. So it could be nice to fill in a bit more about that. If we want, we could also do a little bit more about a good old Dada and Mama. So I might just skip ahead and roll for those. But let's do myself first. Let's see who this guy actually is. Personal description is a D20. Figure out how you describe our dreaming Belgian. 17. Face. You have a notable face. A 4. Wrinkled. I guess all those escapades in the dreamlands finally caught up with him. Let's roll for a trait. D100. Could probably do multiple of these if you want, but we're just going to do one for now. 75. 75. He is pet lover. Okay, rolling for our significant person. Let's find out their identity first. D100. Childhood friend. A friend from childhood. You may have stayed in touch over the years, or only recently re-established contact. Depending on how this turns out, I might just decide that childhood friend is one of my siblings, just to cover that base. So we did identity. Now we have to find out relationship. 11B. That is another D100. 22. Superiority complex. They desire to prove themselves superior to you and will take opportunities to best you. I'm second-born. That sounds like a first-born child thing. All right, so chapter 14 is meaningful locations. It's a D100 to find what we're where we like to hang out. 67. 67 is a seagoing vessel, a yacht, a cargo freighter, an oil platform. Meaningful location. Treasured possession. Treasured possession. All right, so first, if you're a referred to this chapter, start by rolling in 15A. We're not referred here. So 15B, it's just going to be a mundane item. Quest. 37. His favorite item is a sealed bottle. Makes sense. Maybe we found it in the ocean. If you choose to open it now, take player handout 15 materials later. Otherwise, its contents remain a mystery at the beginning of the Call of Cthulhu adventure. We're going to keep it closed. So I've gone ahead and created our little family tree here, our siblings. So the firstborn is, of course, our a good friend during our childhood. We got along pretty well. They have a superiority complex towards our little Belgian protagonist, though. But we still got along well. Secondborn is, of course, our investigator. The third is a wrinkled-faced, organized sibling who's very obsessed with reason. And they saved our life at one point. So we owe it to our wrinkled-faced little brother or sister. The fourth-born is baby-faced and cruel. They're all about iconoclast. They just like to rip people down. But we are very protective of them. Maybe it's that baby face. The fifth-born is tall, humble, obsessed with knowledge-seeking, and we find them inscrutable. So, we have something of a character here now. I believe we have something of a character. Let's give a little summary. Maybe we should get a name, actually. So the name section is comparatively pretty sparse, honestly. There's a lot of names in there. But if you want to find a name that matches your country and time period, probably just a Google will get you there. So we're trying to find a Belgian name. We're going to go with masculine name, which gives us only 20 options. And a lot of these aren't particularly Belgian, but that's all right. That's fine. Let's see what our Belgian ends up as here. So a D20. 15. Our name is Stefan. Stefan, the Dreaming Belgian. let's give a little summary. So Stefan is Belgian. He was born in Belgium to a fairly affluent family. He was born in a bathroom, though, and with a fairly bad ominous brown, sludgy water poured out of the faucets as they tried to clean up. Have two parents. One, Dada, is famous for his locksmithing. It's something of a hobby, really. At least that's what he tells people. People also don't seem to know what his job is, but I think we know. Mother, on the other side, is a valet, and she's quite good at it. She's well known for her valeting. We have 4 siblings. Most notably, we're pretty good friends with our older sibling, given that we're the second born. They have a bit of a superiority complex on us, but we get along well. Our younger sibling, the third born, saved our life once, actually, so we have them to thank for all the wildness that comes after that. The next one after that is a very cruel little baby-faced weirdo, but we like to protect them. Maybe we protected them too much. While the last one is a real tall, quiet, humble guy, but we just don't get him. While we were a child, we thought there was a monster in the closet. It was bad enough that it really stuck with us, though we didn't have much time to dwell on it, or perhaps we dwelled on it because of an armed conflict that raged through Belgium? This armed conflict that he was involved in pushed him over the edge. He had to be institutionalized. It was just too much, and after the thing in the closet, just couldn't get over. But the institution at this time, surprisingly, had superior care, and he came out of it no worse for wear. In fact, our little Belgian really had an inclination towards medicine. People helped him, and he wanted to go on to help others. In his adolescence, his faith developed, and he became very strong in his beliefs. He also took a part-time job as an intern with a local doctor. He learned how to get around the books, and his interest in medicine only grew. As he came into adulthood, he pursued advanced education. He wanted to become a doctor. While he was studying, a most bizarre turn of events occurred that sent his life on a completely separate direction. He was kidnapped by a religious cult. This cult also kidnapped other students. Our Belgian never quite figured out what that cult wanted, what they were doing. But through his sheer intellect, he was able to outsmart them and free himself, not only himself, but the other students as well. His time with these cultists led him to really want to know how the human mind worked, what drove people to be this, well, insane. So he became a psychologist, and he took an interest in pharmaceuticals. In fact, he discovered one that led him on, once again, a completely different path in life. Not only just a different path in life, but a different path in the universe. This drug took him to the dreamlands, where he was seen as worthy. He found, or at least he at first tried to find, Kadath, but he was spun around in the cold wastes and came out of the dreamlands with nothing to show but a desire to go back. And so he did. He forego his family life and went back to the dreamlands. This event stuck with him. And when time came when others may have tried to get out there, find a family, find friends, find love, he instead wanted to go back. And back he did. And this time he found Kadath. He climbed the steep mountains to the castles of Kadath. And he found many, many secrets. He learned how to summon a creature, something like a fire vampire. He also discovered the location of an item here in this world, the crystallizer of dreams, though he has not yet found that. But it's something he wants more of. As life carried on, he settled down a little bit. He didn't go back to the dreamlands. He thought he had found enough. But nightmares plagued him of something shambling, something that didn't belong here, something coming after him, something that might know that he went where he shouldn't have gone. And that is our Belgian. He knows the location of something magical in this world. He knows that there's a world beyond our own, and he knows that something plagued his nightmares, and he thinks maybe it's still going after him. He has a number of siblings, some of them who might want to help, some of them who might not want to. So as he goes about his career in this wonderful game, as his investigations progress, there's all manner of things that could come back to haunt or hinder or help him. Depending on your keeper, there could be quite a few investigations, adventures just tied into this guy's backstory. What if the party wants to go after this crystallizer of dreams? What if they want to find out if there really is a dimensional shambler following him? What if they want to find out why his siblings are so damn weird? There's all sorts of things that could happen with this. And that is the joy of Heinrich's Call of Cthulhu Guide to Character Creation.